Sa lahat ng guro at kapwa kamag-aral sa PNU, isang pagbati. I am tasked to share to you my experiences as a gay teacher. The out, the proud, the loud. My name is Mix Aga Mercades, and this is my story, ang kwento ng baklang teacher. Before I share to you who I am inside the classroom, let me share to you first myself outside the school. While many of us expect teachers to be like this, outside school, you may happen to see me like this. I am a dancer, a performer, a choreographer. So sometimes you may see me look like this. That's me on stage. I was once a scholar of Ballet Philippines and have performed in CCP. If not on stage, maybe you have seen me somewhere on a parade wearing drag. If not, probably you have noticed me on the front page of Philippine Sunday Inquirer, the weekend issue of Daily Inquirer. This was for the film Dead Ma Walking of the Metro Manila Film Festival, where I was invited to dress up like one of the film's character. I also happened to be in the movie. While these were all short-time projects, my usual gig, aside from being a teacher, is as a professional event coordinator and host. So in case you attend a debut or a wedding which I host, you are more likely to see me looking like this. As you can see, I dress up, wear makeup, tint my lips with gloss, chisel my brows, and dash my eyes with a purplish purple, ube realness. I am out, loud, and proud. This particular picture was my student's 18th birthday party. When asked her when I asked her what kind of vibe, energy, atmosphere she wanted for her event, she told me, "Just your usual vibe in school, Momsh, only wilder." And I said, "Say no more." This takes me to the next part of my story. Who am I inside the classroom? What does my student mean when she said usual vibe, only wilder? You see, as we expect students to come from various walks of life and backgrounds, so are teachers. In my case, I happen to walk on 6-inch heels with falling glitters for a background. As a person, I am a performer. My sense of self comes from creating, conversing, dazzling people. And these qualities I bring inside the classroom. In fact, I'm so gay, my kids celebrated my gayness by throwing a debut during Teacher's Day. So, what kind of a teacher is Mix Aga inside the classroom? Well, I don't want to read all the positive comments I received from the students' evaluation, which got me an outstanding mark for 4 years now, because that is too self serving. Well, I'd rather say that inside the classroom, I am a professional teacher. Now, some of you may find professional and gay oxymorons to one another, because professional means being this, and gay is nothing compared to that. Because up until today, many would still associate the word gay and homosexual with shameful mental constructs: immoral, sick, ugly. Like any professional teacher, I prefer my lessons, instructional materials, administer assessments, check outputs, attend seminars. Sometimes I sleep during seminars, only to wake up when it is done. Coffee. Lots of coffee. Probably what makes me different is that students see me as someone who came from a marginalized group. And when I present myself, I portray as an advocate of my rights as a person, an advocate of love, acceptance, and strength. And students who are unloved, unaccepted, find strength as they relate themselves to my battles as a homosexual professional. I listen, I feel, I speak for them. Somehow, the more I share myself, the more my students can relate. It is probably through that my kids found a safe space around me. This was a message I received from a student. They out themselves to me. Their family does not approve their sexuality, but they took the courage and out themselves to me. It is through this moment that really defined myself as a teacher. Being with mixed agam mercades is a safe place to reveal themselves. I was tasked to talk about the hardships as a gay teacher. You see, gay teachers are also taught to be ashamed of their sexuality. We are driven with fears that being gay in the teaching profession may tarnish the ever polished teaching profession. Isa sa mga problemang kinakaharap ng isang baklang guro ay ang kaisipang ang paglalantad ay pagpapahiya sa sarili. Kapag tinanong kang, bakla ka ba? We take it as an offense. In a different perspective, we are ashamed to admit that yes, bakla tayo. More so, we are ashamed about admitting that we are ashamed that we cannot fight back on that. Our enemy is not just the people around us, but us. Tayong mga napipina at naurong na ang dila. Di natin masagot ang tanong na, bakla ka ba? I have been on that point, and it was very difficult. There are times that I felt I need to cover myself with a gray coat to cover the vibrance of my soul. I felt ashamed to show myself. On such cases, during class, I feel I just want to get over it. Just finish the job. It was hard and unfulfilling. Bakla ka po? I battled that by responding with, Opo. Ano nakakahiya sa pagiging bakla? Wala. At dahil wala nakakahiya sa pagiging bakla, niyakap ko ang parating iyon ng aking pagkatao. Acceptance. It paid off. We have to acknowledge who we are to make others acknowledge us. And I did. And so are my kids. My students call me Miss, Ma'am, Mix. Sometimes Momsh or Momshi. It did not bother me. In the same way that it did not bother me if they would call me Sir or Mister. Now, I'm not telling you to have yourself be called ma'am if you don't want to. It's preference. Yours may be different, and that is okay. We have to acknowledge that homophobia has infected many, and that their hate towards LGBT made us feel unsafe. They have controlled the way we move, talk, think, and feel in the most uncomfortable ways. Their homophobia made us accustomed of being ashamed about ourselves that we lower our heads to the question, bakla ka ba? How could we expect our learners to fight discrimination if we, their gay teachers, allow themselves to be victims of it? How could we expect our learners to stand for human rights, for the rights of others, if we, their gay teachers, cannot stand for our own rights? It starts with us. Acknowledge that we are gays. Acknowledge that we are professionals. That the two words are complementary and not antonyms. That we can be gay, express ourselves as such, and behave professionally. By professional, I mean someone who will perform their duties as teachers. People who will guide the young to become functional members of the society. Functional members of the society means people who are not only capable of providing goods and services, invent new things, but also those who can solve problems. Racism in the Philippines is a problem. Looking down on our indigenous peoples and people from the provinces, we need to stop that. Social inequalities in the Philippines is a problem. The unfair, capitalist driven economic policies must be overhauled. Human rights violation in the Philippines is a problem. Justice be served to the victims of these crimes. Homophobia in the Philippines is a problem. And it takes a gay teacher to show to the young that a teacher can be gay and professional. That a professional gay teacher can touch lives and watch their hate away. This was sent to me by my former students months after the semester. He said, "But seriously, Momshi, you made me a better person. You cured my worst disease. It's my homophobia." He said that I have cured his homophobia. If this is not a milestone to me as a teacher, I do not know what. And I have received other messages, but they are stories for a different time. Probably I am just lucky that I happen to teach in senior high school, working with young adults whose minds are open for dialogues. But imagine if we could have this dialogue and sense of love and acceptance to our younger kids. Imagine if we have instilled acceptance and normalized the concept of gay, lesbian, LGBT. Probably we could have saved more from being homophobic and taught to speak them and have them taught to speak politely whose genders are different from theirs, to be more careful and sensitive towards others. It is difficult to be a teacher, but it is more difficult to be a gay teacher in a homophobic society. But if we could be firm and true, we maybe one day make this place not just a better place to live in, but the most fabulous place to live in. Kung ang inang pamantasan ay may anak na bakla o tomboy o isang transgender, kung tatalima sa katotohanan, paglilingkod at kahusayan, hindi niya itutulak ang kanyang anak palayo o pandidirihan. Gagabayan niya ang kanyang anak na maging mabuting tao. Tao. Dahil higit sa kasarian, tao ang kanyang anak na may sariling damdamin, pangarap para sa sarili. Mga kapatid kong guro, girl, boy, bakla, tomboy. Mahal kayo ng inang pamantasan. Tungkulin niyong mahalin ang inyong mga sarili at ibahagi ang pagmamahal na ito sa inyong mga mag-aaral. All the love, maraming salamat.